Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed today's Bible study. What happens when the strongest man in the world has the biggest weakness? The story of Samson, found in the book of Judges chapters 13 to 16. It's not just an ancient tale of muscle and might. It's a high-octane tragedy about power, temptation, and the devastating cost of ignoring your calling. If you think superhero origins are complex, wait until you hear about Israel's final and arguably most flawed judge. Our story begins not with a bang, but with a miracle. Samson's parents were barren, but an angel appeared to his mother, announcing that she would bear a son. This wasn't just any baby. He was set apart from birth as a Nazirite. This meant a sacred vow. No wine, no touching dead things, and most crucially, his hair could never be cut. This long hair wasn't the source of his strength, but the visible sign of his commitment to God. This Nazirite vow was the contract. God provided the supernatural power, and Samson had to maintain the terms. His destiny was clear. He would begin the deliverance of Israel from the oppressive Philistines, and boy, did he deliver. Empowered by the Spirit of the Lord, Samson was the definition of superhuman. His feats are legendary. Remember that time he was walking near Timnah and a young lion attacked him? Samson didn't just fight it. He tore it apart with his bare hands as easily as tearing a piece of paper. He once killed 30 men just to steal their clothes to pay a ridiculous bet. And when the Philistines finally cornered him, seeking to arrest him, what did he use for a weapon? The jawbone of a donkey. That crude bone, he struck down 1,000 Philistine soldiers. Think about that. 1,000 men, defeated by one man with a bone. He was unstoppable. He even physically picked up the massive gates of the city of Gaza, posts, bars, and all, and carried them miles away up a mountain. But despite this incredible power, Samson was constantly drawn to danger, and, more specifically, to Philistine women. His physical strength was enormous, but his moral resolve was paper-thin. He repeatedly violated his Nazirite vows, foreshadowing his spiritual decay. He handled the carcass of the lion he killed, drank and feasted. He constantly walked on the edge, pushing boundaries that God had set for his protection. This leads us directly to the woman who would become his undoing, Delilah. Delilah was not just a passing affair. She was a deliberate weapon used by the Philistine rulers. Bribed with massive sums of silver, she was tasked with one mission: find the secret of Samson's unbeatable strength. For modern context, imagine Delilah's payment was the equivalent of winning a multi-million-dollar lottery. Several times over, Samson, blinded by lust and ego, played a dangerous game with her. Delilah pressed him day after day, and Samson gave her 3 false answers, each one escalating the danger. He claimed he would lose his strength if bound with fresh bowstrings, then with new ropes, and then if his 7 locks were woven into the fabric on a loom. Each time Delilah would test the answer, shouting, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." And each time he would effortlessly break free. He treated his sacred power like a joke, like a parlor trick for his girlfriend. But Delilah was persistent. She wore him down emotionally, complaining, "How can you say I love you when your heart is not with me?" Finally exhausted by her nagging and maybe convinced he could get away with it one last time, Samson revealed the truth. His strength lay in his dedication as a Nazirite, symbolized by his uncut hair. While Samson slept on her lap, Delilah called in a man to shave off his 7 locks of hair. When she cried out the familiar warning, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." He woke up, expecting to shake himself free as usual. But this time, something was different. He didn't realize that the Lord had departed from him. His strength was gone. The Philistines instantly seized him. They cruelly gouged out his eyes, the organs that had led him into so much sin, and took him to Gaza. The man who had once carried city gates now became a slave, chained in a prison, forced to grind grain like a common beast of burden. The mighty judge was broken, humbled, and blind. But the story doesn't end in the grinding house. While Samson was imprisoned, his hair began to grow back. The Philistine rulers gathered for a great festival in the temple of their god, Dagon, to celebrate Samson's capture, publicly crediting Dagon with the victory over Israel's champion. Here in their hubris, they brought the blind Samson out to entertain the crowd, subjecting him to ridicule and mockery. Standing between the 2 central pillars supporting the massive temple, Samson offered his final, desperate prayer. He didn't ask for freedom or restoration. He asked for one last moment of strength, one final chance for revenge, asking God to remember me. I pray and strengthen me. I pray just this once. With this final surge of divine power, Samson braced himself against the pillars and pushed with all his might. The temple collapsed, killing Samson and all the thousands of people inside. The Philistine rulers, their leaders, and the huge crowd. In his death, Samson killed more people than he had during his entire life. Samson's story is a tragic masterpiece. He was a man of phenomenal potential, constantly derailed by his own internal weaknesses. His life shows us that God can use even the most flawed, self-destructive individuals to achieve his purposes. But ultimately, Samson serves as a crucial symbol. He was the champion, the deliverer, who had to sacrifice himself, destroying his enemies and himself in the process to achieve victory. It's a powerful, rough-edged foreshadowing of a greater, perfect sacrifice that would bring true salvation. Thanks for watching this deep dive into the tragic life of Samson. If you found this historical drama fascinating, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into incredible ancient stories. We'll see you next time. Stay blessed.